What's going on, my friends? It is Dave Sharp. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And I have such an amazing guest on this morning, my friends. I am coming to you live from the actual Mastermind Mansion. That's why my background looks a little bit different here because I'm sitting in the boardroom here at this 20,000 square foot mansion in Orlando, Florida. And my guest, believe it or not, it's such a cool coincidence, was also at the mastermind this weekend. She lives in Orlando, Florida, so about 30 minutes away from where we're at. And so not only are we going to talk about her business and we're going to talk about her experience, her accomplishments, what it's been like for her. We're also going to talk about her experience this weekend, fresh off the mastermind, which the mastermind is something that a lot of you may have considered coming to. And for whatever reason, didn't, maybe felt some anxiety around it or didn't think that it might be worth it, or who knows, maybe you couldn't afford it, whatever the case may be, right? Even though it's we should probably be raising the price on that because it's quite a weekend. It's quite a weekend for in just a very reasonable price. But that's besides the point. I watched this lady sit in the audience, participate, in very humbly. She's actually here learning, and she has, grown her Instagram profile to nearly 70,000 followers. She's about 100 followers away from 70,000 on Instagram. She's rocking and rolling. She's tried other things before and has connected the dots on this one. And I'm so excited to welcome Melissa. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Amazing.
Are you still on the mastermind high, if you will? I kind of, experienced that quite a bit myself. How are you feeling after this weekend?
Oh my goodness. I mean, all of it. It just seems so real. Like, being here on Wake Up Legendary, being at the mastermind and, seeing everyone, actually like live and in person and just giving away so much information. I say giving it away because they're so interested in you, so you making this business your own and giving you all of the golden nuggets that they're using themselves. And it's nothing extra except for just listening and taking notes.
Yeah. It was 3 days of just platinum nuggets. I mean, gold bars, silver coins, only a few of those. Mostly were platinum and gold. We even partied. What'd you think of the party on Saturday night?
Oh my gosh, it was great. It's just everyone, from, kind of like going from business to just having fun, and all the pictures, being posted and things that I even missed totally, but it was totally phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it just kind of makes me, oh, go ahead.
No, you go
It kind
ahead.
of just makes me think about, when you're, at a job and you're working and it's like you're taking on extra duties and it's just for the business to run. And this is like your business, but they're giving you everything that they can think of, like pouring their heart out to you. That's what I felt like. And I had never met anyone until Friday night, Friday morning. And everyone's just so giving and, just wanting to see you succeed.
Yeah. We had a lot of rock stars and great legendary marketers, if you will, up on the stage this weekend. We had M. Walcott. We had you know we had Chelsea Weeman. We had Caroline Hene. We had Becca Duncan. We had Josh Smith,
Phil,
Phil, Amy. We had Sean. We had
Sarah,
who?
Sarah
We had
Thompson.
Sarah Thompson. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. It was just really, we had Kelly Roberts.
Kelly Roberts.
And then we had just an audience full of just such diverse people from all walks of life, all different backgrounds and professions. And so that leads me into you. Tell us how you found, I learned a little bit about you this weekend. You're a paralegal, you're from Orlando, Florida.
Yes.
But
Yes.
tell me and everybody listening this this morning, how you found Legendary, what were you looking for? You feel like you found what you're looking for,
Yeah.
and a little bit about how you got here.
Okay. To be honest with you, it's really just life. I'm a mom, I have 3 kids, I have an amazing husband, that works 2 jobs, just trying to make, ends meet. I have a kid that's in college and, that has its own level of expenses.
Girl, you have a kid in college?
I do.
You look like a spring chicken.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Continue.
Yes. And so, of course, everything is just, quickly, mounting. There is no waving of debt or money rolling away. And then to top everything off, I have aging parents. So my mom had to move in with us for some time, and life just got busy and expenses just don't quit, And so I found ourselves like stuck in that classic paycheck to paycheck cycle, with, excuse me, with just, mounting credit card debt, mortgage, student loans of my own still after all these years. And just life, I've worked for a law firm that closed their doors, and I went from, it sounds crazy. I went from making $100,000 a year to making zero, nothing, like unemployment, $500, or $1,000 a month, I think is what it was. So that's its own snowball effect. Nothing happened to us overnight. It just kind of all came rushing, slowly, gradually, but then you just get so sick and tired of the money stresses, the stress on your marriage, your relationship with your kids, family, like it affects everything when you don't have enough for the basics, just to survive. And, credit cards only have so much of limit available to you. And they start taking that back because you're not paying it. I mean, that's, being totally honest. And then, with all of this, have my husband, like, how can I go to him and be like, okay, I know you're working 2 jobs and I know my mom just moved in with us, but we need more, just to survive. And it's just, how do I go to him and say that? And so it really felt impossible because I felt like I couldn't, not that I couldn't go to him, but it's like, okay, I need you to do 3, 4 jobs.
Yeah, right.
So at that point, I just was like, oh my gosh, I can't leave my current job. I have to find something that I can manage myself in addition to working, my 9 to 5 that can give me, another stream of income, give us more relief. Even if it was $500 a month, I would be like, oh my gosh, this is great. We can eat, comfortably for the month and not just eat beans and rice forever, And so with that being said, my search began. I started with YouTube, and that just wasn't sustainable. You have to record 4, 5, 6 hours, just to get, 10, 15 minutes of footage, to put out there, praying and hoping someone, clicks on it and the algorithm picks you up and everybody else picks you up too, but you don't really have a path. Nothing's laid out for you. You're just seeing what everyone else is doing. And so anyway, that wasn't feasible, with working a full-time job and kids and running a household and all that good stuff. So then I'm scrolling through Instagram, trying to find an answer, trying to find some way, to something that I can do on the side at night, early in the morning before I go to my 9 to 5. And I came across this girl on Instagram, and oh my gosh, it was like, what she said was like, I think you can make like $10,000 or thousands of dollars. And I was like, oh my gosh, that would be the answer, but this can't be real. Like, just like everybody else, I was so skeptical and was like, they just want my information. This can't be real. I know you have to work a job 9 to 5, 80 hours a week, to be able to survive. That's what I know to do. That's what all of us know to do. And so I just didn't think it was real. But yet it was in the back of my mind, because like that would be the answer, that we need. Even if it was $1,000, that would be it. So anyway, so, you kept going, time passed by. And of course, once you see it, it doesn't go away. It's in the back of your mind and you start seeing others. And so I was like, it's better than what I'm doing. So I ended up going back to it. I was like, what the heck? I'm going to just go out on a leap of faith. I'm going to pay these $7 for this training and just see where it takes me. Meanwhile, I cannot tell my husband about it because it would have been shot down like right away. It's like, that's crazy. That's not it. We just need to keep doing what we're doing, and well, tomorrow will be better. Next month it'll be better. Give us 6 months, it'll be better. So that's what started my road. That was kind of like everything in a nutshell of how I got started.
So eventually, did you go to your husband? I mean, did you start sort of behind his back? I mean, tell us.
So totally behind his back. So my husband is in law enforcement, so he leaves like at, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the morning or something. So when he would leave, I'm a morning person. I'm a morning owl, so I was up at like 4. You know, I paid for the course that weekend or something, and Monday morning I was like, let me just start looking at this. So I would spend 2 hours before I had to get the kids up for school, and just taking that information in. You know, and the first day, the first video was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. I never thought about this. I'm like, you know, you hear things, but you don't really know the steps to take. You see other people doing it, but you don't know what the actual steps are.
Mhm.
And that is what I felt on day one. It's like it's laid out. There's no, oh well, you do this, but if you pay for you know, this extra, or you go over here and do that, and it's not clear. That's not the case. It was there. It was like laid out on a platter, you know, and that was just day one. And that felt amazing. So anyway, went through the course. I still didn't tell my husband the whole time. I kind of mentioned it to him. I was like, you know, that $7 course, you know, I was looking into that, and I've been doing some research, you know, because of course, paralegal, I research all day, every day. That's like my language. So I was doing some research on it, and I said, I think I'm gonna give it a try. I'm like, it's only $7. Like, what can we use? What can we lose from it? So he goes, this is after I got it. I'm probably getting close to the end. And he was like, well, if you do it, put it on this card, you know, because that card has like $8 on it. So that'd be just enough of what you need. You know, it was kind of like that. And so anyway, I went through it, and I had to tell him when I launched, of course, because I was he's not a social media person, so he's on like Twitter. So I was like, I need you to find me some trendy music, you know, and I was like, I need you to do that part. That's all I need you to do. So that was something he was already, you know, looking at. So that kind of helped bring him in slowly. It was like breadcrumbs, bringing him into what I was doing. Yeah.
That's great. I love those stories where, you know, we have to sort of sneak around to do a good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because, as I said this weekend, our spouses are never, you know, they're never unsupportive. They're just
Yeah.
afraid for our safety. They're afraid for our family. They're afraid and don't want us to get hurt. They're
Right.
afraid and don't want our families to get hurt. And
Right.
it's very rare. I mean, or they just have incredible money. You know, you know, a difficult, traumatic relationship with money, and you know, they don't want to part with money, and you know that can be very difficult in and of itself. But most of the time, it is a great opportunity for us to practice sales and marketing.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean,
Yeah.
if we can't sell our spouse, you know,
Yep.
you know, I mean, we may have a hard time selling anybody else, and we're probably not going to sell. The first person that we need to sell is ourselves.
Right.
We
Right.
need to sell ourselves. And so, talk to us a little bit about, as you were going into this, having done some things in the past
Mhm.
that you either didn't follow through with or weren't successful, and how this was different, and why this was different. You know, I was just looking at some of your results so far, and you've made a nice little chunk of change here
Yeah.
in the few months that you've been doing this. It appears that your timeline is right around June, July-ish, and here we are in October, and you know, you don't have extraordinary hundreds of thousands, but I don't know everything that you're promoting and all of the money that you're making. I just know what you became an affiliate here with Legendary, and of course we appreciate your support. That's never a requirement to
Mhm.
go through our programs and learn our training, but you had made 15, nearly 16 grand here, and
Right.
that's more than that 500 or 1,000 a month. Now, big huge income disclaimer
Yeah.
that those results are not typical, nor are they guaranteed. Anybody who goes through any how-to information online, the majority of people make nothing at all mainly because they do nothing at all. So
Right.
talk to us about some of the ventures in the past for you. You had wrote into your questionnaire, part of it was these trainings or things that you had done didn't connect the dots. Part of it was that you didn't do anything. Say more about this and help us understand what happened in the past, but mostly why this is different and how you are approaching it differently.
Okay. So what I did in the past, as I mentioned previously, was YouTube. So there is no trainings, at all. It's just kind of like there's this platform and you just know you go and you make videos or whatever it is that, whatever niche or area that you want to be in and that you want to do. And um, there are other YouTubers that are out there, I guess a community, but it's not a community that's giving, if that makes sense. It's just someone's out there doing the same thing you're doing, but it's like it's being held very close, like kind of remind me of corporate America, climbing the ladder. Everyone's trying to get that one spot, if that makes sense. And that's what I felt and with YouTube, and also the consistency was not there for me because one, I mean, you hear about it, but you don't really know, like, what does that mean? How do I set this page up? How do I market? How do I go out here and, and create this content that people will want to even look at? So that's a big step. That's like number one, and then of course, before you even get there, of course, mindset, as you mentioned, is another big piece. Like there's no other encouragement, kind of like the mastermind this weekend, kind of tying that in. Well, there's nothing like that, with YouTube, unless you're, that up top already. You're already there, and then maybe you're asked to come out and do something and watch others talk or what have you. So that's that. But with Legendary, from day one with the train, this is like serious, like real talk. From day one, I felt like everything I needed was there laid out, like kind of like you laid out, is you even show things that you are doing, in those videos, or that you have done. That's huge. Most people are not don't show you that information until later, or you in a different caliber, category of their business. Not business, of them telling you that knowledge and information. And I feel like there's so much that's spilled out in that 15-day training that you will forever have. I didn't feel that with YouTube. There is no training, like I said before. It's just you YouTubing other stuff, you doing your own research, and like maybe this will work, maybe this will work. I don't really know. But with the training, it's like day one, day two, day three. It's just everything is just there. You can't help but to tune in. I wish I had all day to sit there and just watch that information, because like I said, once you get it, it's yours. It's in your head. You start looking at the world different. You're in the checkout line and you see the magazines. We all see those magazines. Well, that's a form of marketing. It's right before you're checking out, the cover of the magazines, or we're all looking for that recipe. What's for dinner? We all get that call about, 5 o'clock. What are we doing for dinner? So I'm scrolling through Pinterest or whatever app trying to find something. Well, someone gives me a recipe, things to buy, how to do it, a video, and then there's links, to go, hey, try this wine, try this chicken, whatever it is, that's on there. Well, I started looking at that differently now, because that's all a form, but that's all taught, in there, and everything else is just like a part of your life. It's like, yeah, I see it, but it's just a link. Let me see where it goes. Or if you, matter of fact, don't even really click on it sometimes, but it makes you aware, and that is where I felt like I'm in control of this and I got this, because I have everything I could possibly need to survive is laid out, or to survive, to make this business work, and it's mine.
Yeah. Well, you took it much for all that makes perfect sense and very well said. But you took your education and learning, even though you're having success. And I don't know what the timeline is of when you invested in the blueprints and then decided to come to the mastermind. But I mean, you've turned now into sort of a learning machine. You're obviously, you were here at the mastermind. You just spent 3 days with us and all of these wonderful marketers in this mansion here in Orlando. Are you looking at investing in yourself now very differently than you once did? And could you talk a little bit about that for people who are looking at our blueprints or our masterminds or any look, I tell people I don't care really where you learn these skills and strategies. It's 2023 and you really need to know them so
Mhm.
you understand how to navigate the internet and use social media to make money instead of just allowing social media and the internet to use you to make money.
Right.
So when did you in what has it been like for you to, of course, we're remembering the $8 on the credit card and hubby saying, hey, you got $8, there's, you can buy that $7 course. How did you go from that to um, investing in our flagship programs, the blueprints, and then our mastermind?
Mhm.
And what is that experience of investing into yourself? Sort of like I would assume going to college and what you did to go to become a paralegal,
Yeah.
but obviously much different. Talk to us about that and what that's been like for you I assume you went to college to be a paralegal
Yeah.
when you were younger, and now it's sort of like you're going back to school. Just talk to us about how
Mhm.
you decided to take your education and invest in yourself to a whole new level, what that's been like for you, and
Mhm.
help other people realize if it if you look at it as an investment or a cost.
Okay. Yeah. So that's like a lot. So my story, just kind of a little bit. I went to college later after I became an adult. I
Okay.
married, had kids, and out here in this world, you're working, and every job that you get, right, you're at the mercy of whomever you're interviewing with. I hope I get this job. I hope they pay me what I'm worth, or not what I'm worth, but a good amount that they think they want to pay me. And that's really what it comes down to,
Right.
and so I went to college later, and that's kind of how I look at it. Like, you can only educate yourself by your actions, right? It's all got to be up here in what you want. And I felt like when I bought the $7 training and the information that I received, that I heard, I just feel like that was like a relief. Even though I'm still learning, wasn't making any money. That's not even it. It was just the information that was provided to me, that was given, for the steps that I needed to take. It was like laid out for me. And I know I keep saying that, but that's really what it was. And I felt like I am going to invest in myself because I really haven't, except for, going to college, but then you're still stuck, because I had a firm that closed, because partners didn't get along. Well, guess what? Now I'm out here with no job just because of that. So with this, I looked at this as I was learning that this is mine. Once I get it, it's mine. I'm in control and I can dictate my streams of income by what I learned in there. And that's why I invested in myself and into the blueprints. Hope that kind of answers the
I,
question of how I
I
saw
love
it.
it. So simple. I asked it in such a complicated way, but you simplified the answer. And you're right. I love that. Once you learn this, it's not your success is not dictated by one company, one product, or even one niche.
Right, right.
It's dictated by you now have the ability to go into any niche,
Mhm.
any find any product. And we, of course, recommend and teach the core four ways to sell information online or profit from information through the
Right.
selling of courses, coaching events, and or finding other courses, coaching events you can be an affiliate for. Just because we learned during the pandemic that physical products can get stuck in the supply chain and they can have low margins, and when they arrive on somebody's doorstep they can be damaged or underwhelming, and now they want a refund. But digital products, they're delivered instantly.
Mhm.
They have uh, more value to people because knowledge, information empowers people
Mhm.
to solve problems.
Right,
And
right.
just like you said, nobody can take it away from you. And there can be higher margins, high ticket products.
Mhm.
To talk to us a little bit about, and is something coming up for you as I'm saying this?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, because what you just said, no one can take it away. So I went to college to get a degree so I can, get a job. That degree is mine, but the after effect is not in my control. My control was to go to school and to learn how to, the legal field, learn how to be a paralegal. And now it's my job to go out and find a job. I'm at the mercy, as I said before, of the other person. But I felt like with this business model and the blueprints, I feel like it's like a treasure chest, I guess is the best way I can describe it, of like opportunities. And that chest is yours. Like it stays right there, right in there where you put it. And those opportunities are, as you want to, like, oh, let me dig around here and find something else. It's kind of like the way I look at it, and the potential of the multiple income streams. It's not just a job that could be gone tomorrow, but it's whatever you want. You're the creator of this. And that's how I looked at it. That's how I still see it to this day. And this weekend would just kind of just added on to that, validation of what's possible. And it's just there. I just wanted to add that.
No, thank you for that. So, what has it been like for you to go from sitting in an office,
Mhm.
or maybe during the pandemic you worked from home? I'm not sure, but to going on to creating content. We've of course got your Instagram link up here, and we you've got nearly 70,000 followers on Instagram. You've obviously put most of your attention on that platform, I would assume. Before we get into maybe some of the mechanics, talk to us about what has it been like to get on video? What limiting beliefs did you need to overcome? How is it more comfortable for you now than maybe it was at the beginning? And what did you do to get more comfortable?
Wow, limited beliefs. Oh my goodness. Where do I start? I guess the main one that kind of sticks out to me is no one wants to watch me. Like, who's going to click on this? Who's going to buy from me? There's all these other people out there. That was like, I think the main one that was hard for me to make that. I made that first video probably 10 times, which is crazy. It looked the same every time, except for maybe a word. But um, literally, because, you are who you are, and no one can do it like you. And that's the part that I had to tell myself over and over and over again, still to this day, because those the thoughts get in your head. It's like, oh, this is, am I supposed to be doing this? What am I doing? And no one wants to click on my videos, but oh my gosh, there's almost 70,000 people, out there that have clicked on it, and that is mind blowing, in itself. So empowering, to be honest with you. Like, I never thought it was possible, for me, to be where I'm at, even, to this day. Besides, like, my family history, like going to college is not like the top priority, let alone having my own business. like, do you hear what I'm saying? Like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. It's just amazing. Yeah. I think I probably got sidetracked.
No, you didn't. This is
Yeah.
beautiful. It's wonderful. It's exactly what needs to be said and whatever is coming up for you. That's why this show, for those who are just tuning in, this show is completely unscripted. As a matter of fact, you told me sometime throughout the weekend you were going to be on the show, but we never talked about the show.
No, no.
I was like, well, I'll see you on Monday. I
Yeah.
mean, part of the power of the show is that it is unscripted and it is right from the heart, off the cuff, and you could have come on here and said anything you wanted to say, and I would have let you talk, because it's part of, I think, 2023. We need transparency. People want transparency. They want to know what's really going on behind the scenes. And the beautiful thing is, with Legendary here, nothing's going on behind the scenes. What you see is what you get, and we are putting everything out there. Every damn word that we're saying together to each other is live. I want to roll with your previous thought there, because in your questionnaire, when we invite somebody on to the show, we send them a few questions just to try to find out what your social media links are, so we got them right, so we can share them, and learn a few things about you. You said, I'm so proud of myself. We asked you what you currently getting results with and would be thrilled to talk with Dave about. And you said, I'm so proud of myself. Even though I've accomplished getting a degree, landing a successful job, I'm more proud of the work and effort I've put into starting my own business and making it successful every day. All caps, showing up every day,
Right.
even when the results were not what I wanted. So talk to us about this confidence building that's happened. You just mentioned a second ago that you watched the first video 10 times, which is actually not that many. There's probably a lot of people on the damn show who are listening, including me, who have done 10 videos, 50 times.
Mhm.
And so what has it been like for you what does that mean? You are proud of yourself. What does
Oh my
that really
goodness.
mean to you?
Yeah. Um, oh my gosh. So just about myself. So starting this business, my business. I mean, oh gosh, where do I start with this? I've learned so much about myself, right? People see you, they think that you have it all together. You look like, oh, you have this great job, and your husband, and you got the kids and the house and this and that. It looks like it's great, but doing this, creating my own business has been so meaningful to me. Like, it's like a human experience. Like, it's crazy. Anything I haven't thought about, and the personal growth, the self-confidence that have come, the sense of fulfillment, talking to other people, asking questions. At first, I mean, I'm trying to answer questions. I'm just like, oh my gosh, am I right? But I am right, like, like, I hope I told them the right thing, but it is. And then it just comes, and it just flows off your tongue, and honestly, like, I'm definitely an introvert. I really am. And I'm not a big talker. I mostly sit back and kind of observe things that's going on. And I feel like, becoming, with that being said, and becoming a mom, early, and all my focus and attention was on them, trying to raise them, and taking care of them. And I love every bit of it. Like, I wouldn't trade it. It's made me part of who I am today.
Mm.
But in that process, who checks on you? Like, who sees how you're doing? And there's
Mm.
no one. They just want, they need. And I feel like, for me, this has been a self-discovery for myself of what I'm capable of. Because, like I told you, I went to college later. Like, I put myself through college later on in life. It wasn't out the gate. And I always knew I wanted something more, but just life is so hard. It's such a struggle, trying to just make it out here, let alone you got two kids that you're trying to take care of and feed, and wow, that's like a lot by itself. But I feel like, with this, I'm doing things, I'm thinking about myself, and that alone is empowering. Not that I'm selfish, but like, this is something for me that I can also help them with. I mean, they're grown. My oldest daughter's 27, my son, next one's 20, 22, 23. And I feel like I'm teaching them not just go get a job, go work hard, and think that that's the answer. It is, there's more.
Mm.
It's more than that. And that generational information is not passed down because it's just not there to pass down, if that
Mm.
makes sense. And I feel like that's what I'm embarking on, and
Mm.
that's huge to me. I feel like I'm becoming that person that's willing to build a successful business, and I'm doing it, and it just feels amazing. I keep phenomenal. Like, it's just out of this world.
Yeah, I can relate. I mean, I started as somebody who, I mean, that deserves 50 hat throws, by the way.
I got it.
You got 50 this morning, I mean, off the backboard. Boom, boom. See that? Went over the picture because I didn't want to knock the picture down.
Oh.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and anybody who has followed through the tough parts of starting a business can relate to that. I started as a recovering addict,
Mhm.
now 15 years in long-term recovery sober, but I started 15 years ago, actually 13 and a half years ago in my marketing journey, in my entrepreneur journey, previously homeless, all the things that did tell me I was a life loser.
Mhm.
And I built my self-worth and self-esteem through entrepreneurship. For me, it also happened to be through sobriety, but through entrepreneurship, brick by brick,
Mhm. Mhm.
digital, virtual, brick by brick.
Right.
And every video that I posted, every email that I sent, every lead that I generated, every commission that I earned was another brick to my house, the new house I was building of the new self-esteem of Dave Sharp.
Right.
And now I have a real castle. I've got a moat around that castle. And I'm not talking about anything that has to do with where I live, friends.
Mm-mm.
I'm talking about the castle of self-esteem and self-worth and confidence that I have. And again, it's got that moat, it's got that bridge that I built brick by brick, that I only let certain people into my kingdom, in my castle. So I'll put that bridge right up if I don't want somebody coming into my, my home, my space, my mental space. What has it been like for you to realize that some of your friends and family who you love and love you dearly
Mm-hmm.
may not have the best guidance and advice for you? And some may even need to be given the old boot.
Yeah. Yeah.
How have you set boundaries without just, dumping the table over and
Yeah.
saying, I'm done with everything and everyone, now that you're learning this information and realizing that maybe the traditional path that we've all learned, that they are even still doing? Probably many of
Mhm.
your friends and family are still on that path. And maybe they complain to you, and that maybe you
Yeah.
used to complain with them, but now you're on a different path. How have
Mhm.
you navigated that? How are you setting boundaries in dealing with that?
So my immediate family, so my brothers, my mom, I didn't tell anybody about this in the beginning because I didn't really, as I said before, I was a little skeptical. I didn't even know, so I told no one about it. But as you go through it and you're learning this information, and the information is just is something that you have never heard of, maybe heard of inkling of it, so now I feel like that's all I talk about, and so I'm telling them that what's possible even while you're still working, like you can get this going now, while you're still working. Two of my brothers are close to retirement, and but they're not really ready, if that makes sense. The years are in, but financially, with the cost of milk and bread and kids, it's just they're not ready, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And so I'm telling them, I'm like, look, you can do this. Put your wife onto, tell she can do it. I'll tell her about it. So so that's where I'm at now. I don't shut up about it, and I'm sure they probably, because I'm the only girl, so they just listen to me. I just talk and talk and talk about it, and a couple friends, people from where I grew up, of course, they come across your page, and you get those messages. And before I was like, oh my gosh, I hope no one sees these videos. I don't want anyone that I know to see these. But now I'm just like, I put it out there. It's like, this is so helpful. And I know your situation just from growing up with you guys. Like, I know that is so much better than what you're doing, or what you think you're doing. And not that I'm being bougie or being better than anybody else, but this is another opportunity and when you start seeing it, you're going to be like, oh, Alicia, why didn't you tell me about this 3 months ago? You know what I mean? And it's kind of like that, because but the only part is just taking the time just to learn. I tell everyone that take the time to learn, to take in this information. That's like step one. You have to be ready for what you're getting ready to hear. I say that to everybody. Because if you're not ready to receive it, ready to change what you have going on, the desperation won't let you do it, if that makes sense. You're not desperate enough, or you're not willing to change your situation enough. So to answer your question, I tell everybody about it. I was trying to think of when I'm in line, how I can like have a little card or something, because everyone talks, in line sometime. What are you doing for dinner? Ideas. Kids is the biggest subject at these sports events.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to incorporate a way to add them in there, because everyone talks about the same thing. It's never enough,
Yeah.
living
Yeah.
paycheck to paycheck. Yeah.
Do you mean have a card that you hand out to people?
And I'm just talking right now, off my head, but yeah, something that or giving them, not a card, but like everything's on your phone, so you can
Yeah.
send your link to them. Everyone's on Instagram or
Well,
message or.
most people still are traditional, and
Mhm.
a business card makes sense to them. And
Right.
so if anybody is thinking of a way to generate leads or spread information offline in a business card form, what I would recommend is a compelling headline with a website, which is your landing page, for them to go and opt in
Right.
for your information.
That's a good
And
point.
that way, because the problem with business cards is that you hand them out. It's got an email and a phone number usually, or a website for the, and this is why we don't like websites. They go and they browse, they lurk, they stalk, but then they leave. Then they leave and they say, I'll get to this later. But the power of what we teach here in building an email list, we talked a lot about how to use email more powerfully, how to make more money with email this weekend.
Yes.
The power of why we collect emails is because everybody approaches things the same way. I'll get back to that later. Oh, I'm looking into this. And then it's like, oh, I'm distracted, or, oh, there's something to buy. Let me get. So then we're able to, if we've collected their emails, we're able to follow back up with them. And so the same exact concept can work on a business card, and you can have those to hand out. And it's so much more interesting. That's also the way that we can stand out. If we have a business card that doesn't have our name, it can have our name, but doesn't have our phone number. You don't want to be getting a bunch of phone calls and a bunch of text messages from weird people and strangers. That's part of the beauty of affiliate marketing, online marketing. You don't have to stay on the phone with people. You don't want to hand out your email address, because then they're just emailing you a bunch of questions that if they just opted into your landing page, they would probably get the majority of those things answered anyways. And my answer to people is always, when they have questions, that is answered actually in the video. Let me give you a link to the video.
Right.
Whatever it is that I'm promoting.
Right.
So again, a headline, a compelling headline, how a struggling paralegal has built a profitable side hustle online in 4 months. Just something as simple as that. I mean, that could be cleaned up and be, I mean, you could have ChatGPT rewrite that headline 50 times and give you whatever, right? Or you could rewrite it yourself. Then with a link right there to your landing page. So now you're sending people right to opt in. You're building your email list, and you're allowing even your offline prospects and or leads to go through that same online automated funnel that people are going through on the internet. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. Yes, it does. Totally, it does.
And that's the other thing that people should be doing if they're ever putting magnets on their cars or driving around with any information on their vehicles. You know, you see these people and they put their phone number up. Well, people don't want to call and talk to you right away.
No.
Because they're afraid that it's going to be a sales call in disguise. But they'll go to a website and they'll opt into something because they know that they can do that without the pressure of having to talk to somebody. People really don't want to talk at first. They only want to talk once they see something, and then they may have a question. But same thing, sending people to a website to generate leads, we can do that offline as well.
Yeah. Point.
I wish I would have known that back in the day when I was driving around with different magnets on my cars and signs in my yard with my number on it, and my phone never rang, right? It's kind of like I'm sitting there looking at it, trying to like watching paint dry.
I know, like waiting for that one call. Yeah.
And then it's like your mom or something. It's like, oh, geez.
I know. I can't talk.
Right. I'm waiting for a prospect to call. So, what else have you learned about yourself in this process, Mauricio? What has this brought up for you that you forgot that existed within you, or that you had as a part of your personality, or what have you realized about yourself brand new that you didn't know how fill in the blank you are?
Yeah. How awesome I am. Yes. So that's it. So it's kind of back to what you said earlier, like that self-doubt is real, an imposter syndrome, self-doubt. You think that you're not worthy enough, or you think that you're not good enough. That's probably the best way to really sum it all up. And I feel like with the people that message me and they want something more than what they're doing, it definitely makes me feel like, oh my gosh, I can help you. Like, let me show you, or, help you change that X, whatever that is that they're telling me, in the message, because it's true. Like we all want that best, or we want that, best thing, or just to be better than what we're doing. Cause sometimes life kind of deals you cards and you just kind of, tread through whatever, what you can. And that, that's pretty much it. But I feel like this having, my business, online business, is definitely given me that power where I feel worthy, and that, like, people do want to hear what I have to say. And
Mm,
that's huge. And people don't think that, but we all suffer with something, and that's mine,
yeah.
thing that people don't want to hear it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Ashley says, Milicia, can you talk about your social media growth strategy? You do have 70,000 followers on Instagram. Give us a nugget or two about what you've learned in terms of creating content
Mhm.
and that people engage with, that they like to watch and see, and
Mhm.
then how you are building, how you are getting people to follow you, and then eventually, of course, opt-in, generating leads, getting sales. But let's just talk about how are you building those followers, and
Mhm.
how are you getting people to watch your videos? What are you doing now that is maybe different? And if you could do it all over again, you may have done this or that thing from the very
Sure.
start.
I think, for me, number one, it's just really being yourself, and it's easy to say that, but it's really hard to say that because, like I said just a few minutes ago, I felt like people wouldn't like me as who I was, and being yourself. So it's really getting past that, and then just being consistent. Because people, they're watching you. They're not talking to you. They may not be messaging you, but they're watching you. And just know that that is what they're doing in the background, and they're waiting for that one video that they're like, oh my gosh, that is me. Everything you've said is me, but this one really is. And then that's when people will reach out to you. And I think that's probably the best thing that I can say, is just being consistent and talk to people. Talk to them as if we're sitting here talking right now. I think that's huge. It's not just a script of what someone has said to say, or what you think you should be saying. Talk to them just like this. I say, just be their friend on there, because everyone is looking for that answer, but they
Yeah.
have to trust you and know that you're trying to look out for them.
Are you I want to give a suggestion and something that came up a couple of times this weekend that we realized was a huge missing piece for a lot of people creating content and growing followers. But I want to ask you,
Mhm.
do you create videos to go viral, or do you create videos to engage? And let me ask a follow-up part to that question. Are you talking in your videos and are allowing them to hear your voice and explaining things, as we call it, edutainment? Are you entertaining and educating them with your own voice, or are you using a lot of trending sounds and pointing to text on screen? And how do you mix those in, and what do you decide in terms of what is working best for you?
Gotcha. Actually, you have to try different things, right? So these videos are going out to the world, right? So you may have someone who doesn't want to hear you talking. They just want to see you, a lot of my videos do very well with just doing what I'm doing in a day, loading the dishwasher, wiping the counters off, fixing breakfast, in the morning time before the kids go to school. Like, that's like real life things that are occurring. And I'm
Mhm.
able to put some educational information, over the screen. I'm not talking at all in those videos. Then I have some videos where I do talk. I go by some of the messages I get. I try to, that's like, helps me create content, because if that one person has that question about, I don't know, what is affiliate marketing? I've heard of it, but what is it? So, you can do a little video just to entice, just to get something out there. And then that way it causes them they want to know more, not just that one little thing. So you got to use that. And then, of course, I'm not a big dancer. I'm probably one of a few people that I know don't know how to dance, but guess what? I'd be out there doing something. So, you got a group of people that and if I'm offbeat, oh well, I'm just offbeat. And I know, they tell me about it. So I'm out there. Yes, that's me. If you know, you know.
Hey,
So I mean, there's videos, people just want to see you, being silly, and you can put some information out there that they want to, that's educational to them, to make, not everything. You don't want to disclose everything in a video. You want to give the opportunity for you to talk to them, to tell them more details and where to get that information from. So I hope that answers her question, but it's like a combination of everything. Trending sounds is another one, because, people love, it depends on what the video is. Maybe you want something that's soft, maybe something with my kids, or some words on screen, like, I hear you. You're dropping your kids off at daycare today. Well, guess what? I did that too. Someone else is raising your kids. Oh my gosh, that's me too. My oldest daughter's 27. I wasn't there for probably, 15 of those years because I'm working. So those are the things that are, there's all kind of people out there. You're talking to everybody in every situation possible because it's happening, and don't think that your situation is unique. And it's just really, I'm not saying put your whole life out there, but put something out there that someone can relate to.
I love that.
Yeah.
Patty says, I love her voice. It's so soothing and motherly. And Patty, thank you. I was thinking the same thing. It's nice to be able to have positive feedback and validation. That's kind of what our community is all about. All of these wonderful comments that you guys are giving to Melissa is so beautiful. And she is spending her time to come on here and give back to us. And so it's so nice for you to acknowledge the positive and the just point out the things that you like, the things that just any way in which we can encourage each other and validate each other is such a beautiful thing. I wanted to just throw one more tip that was so powerful and so simple this weekend, going back to the question that was asked earlier about the social media growth phase. How do you really get those followers up? Well, the majority of you, when we look at your videos, you're not giving a strong and clear call to action at the end of your video. And if you want people to follow you at the end of your video, say, follow for more.
Yeah. And that's
follow me.
Yeah. And with what you just said, if you look at all of my videos, either in the caption or especially in the beginning when in that growth phase, that's all I said, follow for more, follow for more. And I know it sounds so redundant to you, but the person that is seeing that video may have been the first time. They may have only seen one of your videos that's being pushed out. So you got to think about it that way too. As you're putting videos out there, that one is probably being pushed out more and they haven't seen your other 100 videos. We think that, but they really don't.
Only you've seen your
other. I've seen it, yes.
One of the powerful things that Chelsea Weemet said this weekend was, she has been doing this just this year, and she's created incredible results, and she's created 1,000 videos. And she's posted, screw creating, she's posted 1,000 videos, and so often, we quit before the miracle happens. We've got our 2 or even 12 videos up or whatever it is, or we say, hey, I've been doing this for 2 months and I'm not getting the results that I want, or I'm frustrated, or I'm discouraged. I often say we don't see ourselves growing, just like in real life, as you're growing, whether that be tall or wide, we don't feel that. We don't feel that expansion. We don't feel that growth. Right. Give us one last thought on not quitting before the miracle happening yourself, and in what has it been like for you to, what have you told yourself? How have you rewired old negative thinking around quitting too soon? And even during discouraging moments, what are you telling yourself? What is going through your mind to allow you to focus on the glass being half full instead of half empty?
Yes. Oh my goodness. That is just it. I mean, I talk to myself all the time, and you have to talk to yourself. I know it sounds crazy, but you really do, because kind of like what someone else has said, like, oh, I should be here by now. Well, who says that? Is that your measurement? I mean, or is that someone else telling you should be there because other people are trying to measure it up for you? Are you comparing yourself? But I want to say everyone's journey is very different. And if I compared myself to whoever X, I would have quit this probably week number 1, because I got like 2 views, in the beginning. And all I want to say is just keep going, because how I look at myself, or what I tell myself, is what's the alternative? You know, working my 9 to 5 and hoping everybody loves each other and this firm stays open so I can get a paycheck in 2 weeks. I mean, that's the other that's the other option, is to keep doing what you're doing, um, which means you end up with no results. So, and I tell myself, some days I get up and I just don't feel like it. I don't feel like recording a video, or I'm, not being creative enough, I feel like, but that today might be the day. And that's what I tell myself every day. Today might be the day. Today could be the day. And that has happened so many times, but then, once you get it, you want more. So today's going to be the day that I'm going to get more. So that's what I tell myself, to keep going.
Wow. Really powerful.
Yeah.
I can understand why you're proud of yourself. You should be. I feel proud of you getting to know you this weekend, and now listening to more of your story here this morning. It's been humbling. It's been inspiring. It's motivational. You really are. You really are inspirational. You really do have extremely valuable things to say. And, I'm leaning in, sitting on the edge of my seat, listening to every word that you say, and learning. I mean, learning, being reminded of powerful principles, and being reminded of what it takes in this journey to succeed. It's not easy. It's not overnight. It takes incredible fortitude and persistence and perseverance. And you're demonstrating that. And you're checking on you, you're checking on you. You're also your choice to become a victor instead of a victim. And say, hey, it's so easy to say, nobody's checking on me. And get bitter, get resentful at other people, or the world. And the truth is that we're all just kind of doing the best to survive and try to thrive, and nobody is coming to save us. That's just kind of how the world works. I mean, we work together as best we can, but the number one rule of life is always self perseverant. You got to preserve yourself, and people are not selfish. They're just survivors. And and you're just, the way that you've turned what could easily be victim stancing, what could easily be blaming others, what could easily be, I am, poor me.
Yeah. Yes.
You're like, no, I refuse to be poor.
Absolutely not.
I refuse to be poor financially. I also refuse to be just poor me in terms of my attitude. And so anyways, I'm going on and on about you because you deserve it. And it was such a pleasure to spend time with you this weekend at the Mastermind. And Alicia,
thank you too. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Come back and see me on the show. Stay legendary, my friend. Okay.
I will. Thank you. Bye.
See you. All right, my friends, you can follow Milicia over at its_wealth building tips. Okay. That's its_wealth building tips right over on Instagram. What a way to start a week. I mean, we're just coming out of a powerful weekend. You're probably seeing, if you're following our Legendary Marketer page, which you're on right now here on Facebook, you can see some of the videos and the stories and the things from this weekend. You're probably seeing them from other people that you follow out on the internet that were here at the Mastermind. It was just a powerful, powerful weekend. Of course, Milicia was there with us, and we sure hope that we have an opportunity to be able to see you maybe one day at one of these events as well. Either way, today is what matters. Right now is what matters. And so use the inspiration from this conversation this morning to now pivot and follow through with something you need to do for your business. Starting, even if you have to start over, starting a new pattern, a new routine, just pressing post, just realizing that done is better than perfect, striving for excellence instead of perfection. These are all the things that you can do now after this interview and after listening to Milicia lay out such a powerful story, her real life, exactly what she's doing and what she's done to get here. So, my friends, we'll see you back here tomorrow for another powerful show. Thank you again to all of you and the wonderful feedback that you've given to me, of course, our show, and most importantly, our guests this morning. And get on out of here. Have a fantastic day. Stay legendary. Peace.